What's going on, YouTube? Time for another recap. As we like to start with, we get into the old X here. Look at a couple predictions that we had. Not too much today as a half day. Volume is very low, susceptible to the blowouts, up and up away, as we went over in our private Discord many times today. And we had a little bit of a couple different trade plans to work out today, so let's get into them. So with the data that we had today, we do have the ISM showing us some more bullish tendencies. We had higher unemployment, so all things that are making us go up. And if you do know anything about July, July is a very bullish month, and we are during presidential election season, so there are powers at B that will not let this thing drop. So that's why we keep calling all-time high FOMO up, which we got today. So let's get into it. For our first day trade scalp, this is the one where we made the big money on today. I'd love to see QQ long to the top of the VWAP. So this was the last candle yesterday, and I wanted to see this dip in pre-market, rip up here to this guy on the anchor, right? And that anchor would provide us with a decent upside move just for that pre-market rally bottom. That's it. We had a really good opportunity to see kind of that price action click down in pre, and I think just the opening range squeeze up, which was like 50 to 80 points for this guy right here, was literally all I needed for a single trade. Because backtesting anchors. Now, backtesting anchors, I'm very adamant on. You see this on the channel a lot, where a anchor that is made from the day prior needs a tag, and we'll get into that today as well. So no huge predictions. I did point out that we do have an unfilled gap near 484 on Qs. This was made on the 1 minute chart, so we're not going to forget that. We're going to put that in our back pocket. And Friday, you know, still a day where we could see some selling on the market. We are closed, obviously, for 4th of July. And yeah, so let's get into the awesomeness here. So again, which our first prediction was for the anchor, right? So let's get into the Qs here. I'll bring up the top-down anchor and show you exactly why we had picked that trade, right? So that being said, we're sticking to the QQQs here on the panel. Now, we had a big push up, and this was one of the things that we had said in our private chat too, and we said we do have an opportunity to find support above a daily VWAP backtest, and we are susceptible with low volume to get blown out of the water into all-time high, so please keep that in mind. We did go over that a bunch. Now, anchors from the prior day. This is going to be a very important short target when we start seeing some turnaround from all-time highs, is an anchor chase, okay? So from last pre-market low yesterday, we have an anchor that has never been tagged all day yesterday, and you notice we have a very large gap of this anchor coming into today. So we will get a back test of this anchor. This anchor will continue to chase down price action, and it will become a very good support and short target at some point in time. So what I do with these usually is I'll change the color to something that stands out a little bit more for me, and I know it's a different anchor, right? It's something that has not been tagged for confirmation. Okay, so let's look at the two short-term anchors we were looking at. The last little tiny higher low wick push out here at the end of the day, we did get a little bit of a tag there, and then the last candle of the day top. Okay, and a lot of the time we need live tags of that, so that's why our prediction post was holding this one. I didn't want to give out too much free information, but we were holding this VWAP right here. We were holding a daily VWAP back test for a potential. So anything above this white dash line on the daily frame, we were going to continue. So as long as we were above this line, we had a really big upside potential and squeeze out at all-time high. We're looking for short for a couple different scalps. Those worked out as well, but let's get into the majors here. So that back test of that anchor was huge. Now let's take a peek at how we drew data. We had data and ISM here intraday, okay? Came out right here, 9 a.m. Central. And what I did is I always do, I take the high-low 5-minute candle, and then we worry about where the data set is for price action, right? So we have this high-low fib box like we always love to have. Holy moly, how the frick did that get so big? That thing always gets me, man. Fib box right here. And now, as you see, we don't have any data that closes the bottom of this data candle. So now we are susceptible to coming back down. So usually when we see a candle pattern like this after data, we either go to the top and then continue up, or the bottom of the golden pocket and continue down, right? It's an over-under level usually with the data body. So the body of this candle in the 5-minute tends to be a very hefty directional. And we do got the opening price right there, right at the golden pocket, 47.44. So as we love to do, we look for the upside targets once we broke outside of the data. So we are over the 100 fib. and we are on a low volume squeeze, potential all-time high FOMO. So moving to the 1618 was no big deal. We did not get a back test of the 100 to continue to the 2618. We didn't need one. We have a low volume squeeze, and that is the psychology of the day. We need to keep that mindset in the trading day for the macro vision of the whole day, right? The whole trade day. Susceptible to these large squeeze outs at all-time high because it is a low volume half day, close Thursday. Friday is going to be the same thing. So, and July obviously very bullish. So a lot of psychological sentiments we need to catch there for the trading. So this Fibonacci played out all the way to the 2618, had a little bit of resistance reaction here. And this is, you know, a pretty good grind. Now, are we going to do the full on to 493? I don't know. I think we might get a little bit of a pullback as we do. Like we did scalp some pullbacks here into moving average confirmations. We'll do that on SPY real quick. So we're going to do the same thing as our last trade was on ES, and ES is still kind of grinding up. So same exact plan here. We have the data high-low, right? 5-minute ISM. And again, we're looking for that data to keep in mind that we do have a pocket down here, 548.90, that there is no data. So eventually when this sequence conks out and starts the walk back down on the fibs, which I talk about a lot on this channel, this will be a short target of 540 or 548.90. So you will see that we are coming up to about 55212 right now, foaming into those all-time highs. And this is also something that we had mentioned, that SPY has more room than Qs to chase down, and why we should get an upside move. Well, why was that? Now I'm going to delete this for now on the data candle. And I want to show you where we got this candle data from, right? So I'm looking at the prior all-time high. So this is very important here. The prior all-time high candle is 628, okay? And when we opened today, as long as we stayed over yesterday's close at the top of this candle, we had an opportunity to do what? Fill up, right, the Fibonacci range. So we have a high-low Fibonacci. We'll make it a little easier to see. We'll just do this neon green here. We have the high-low at the all-time high. So obviously, we have data to be filled like we always think of on the fibs, right? So right here, from yesterday's top to the prior all-time high, we have data box to be filled in the fib range, right? So we come into this and we look, okay, well, what do we have susceptible for long? Well, as long as we stay over yesterday's highs, we're going to fill up the box, right? We're going to go to the zero line. We're going to go to all-time highs, which is that 550 and change. And that's what the bias of long would look like here, okay? So this is that data that we did not have and pushed back up. So up, higher low, right at yesterday's highs held. Rate 2, small pullback, FOMO, MOMO, low volume squeeze into parabolic, okay? Well, not really parabolic, but you know what I mean. Good squeeze, good squeeze. And as we said, as a short day, low volume, those shorts aren't going to be playing in the pool. They are not going to be up here trying to pick tops on a super low half day. That's just suicide. Don't want to do that. So now with these green fibs right here pointed to that upside, we are at FOMO all-time high MOMO momentum. So there's not a whole lot to do now. One of the last little pieces of the pie here, we did have, I wanted to note that we have the VIXy here. And the VIX also opened up at a really awkward spot. We haven't been getting any correlation at all, but that little dip in the data, right, that 9 a.m. Central right here, the one time we did scalp short, we'll go over that last little piece here at the end. We did leave a gap, and you know me and gaps, I'm very, very keen on these. On the 5 minutes. So this shuts down for 15 minutes from pre-market till open, and it did create a gap with that 15 minutes at the volatility index at open. So during the data at 9 a.m. Central, and this is where I scalped the short because I seen the VIX going to gap fill. And when the VIX goes up, the market does the inverse, or it's supposed to. The market should go down. Now, playing counter trend is not all that easy. And I'm going to come up with a counter trend scalp video right after this and kind of help you guys with that. But right now, this is where that short came into play with the data. So here's your data high-low. Let's make it a little easier to see. 9 a.m. candle, right? And what I did, I could delete these as well. And what I did for this candle for that is the short because of the VIX. So the VIX, like we said, had that upside loop coming to fill that gap, right? So as that VIX is coming up, we should have a data fill down to at least an attempt at the bottom of the candle. So I shorted this rollover right here. We made a nice little chunk on ES this morning. So that was literally the only play for the short play we had there because everything else was FOMO, MOMO, and potential low volume squeeze. So that one VIX play where the VIX had to fill the opening gap, we had a data right here, and we had the opportunity to see it come down for a scalp and roll back up. Now, I would have liked to see, you know, a little cleaner of a long determination in volume. So if something were to tell us, hey, we're going to start up a big long, we would have seen buyers in control, but we didn't. We just seen huge seller candles here, huge seller candles here, here. It just kept forcing up, and up. So volume catalyst was not helping us out. But trend and psychology and what we know about having half days and low volume squeeze days kind of saved us, because the moving averages weren't going to get any kind of magnetable back test because we had already hit the 200 and the 100 out of the gate. So technically we don't need to come back down for the confirmation because we have already tagged it. So we don't have a first tag metric. We're not looking for a price action that has opened, let's say right here, over the 100 EMA in the green, over the 200 SMA in the peach, right? And then it would run away. It would need to come back down and slam into those for confirmation to continue higher. But we didn't need that because we had already tagged them on the day. So again, we weren't really looking for the easy short to come down and tag those moving averages to the T, right? All right, so I hope that made sense. It's a quick and short one today, and I hope you guys trade safe. Have a good 4th of July. If this channel provides you any value at all, if you would like to come trade with us at Boiler Room Trading, the link is in the description. And we also trade with Apex. So if you want to trade with Apex, we have TG33. It'll get you a discount there. It supports the channel. I appreciate you much. Much love. We'll catch you on the next.